trailers that suck. Welcome back to We Watch a Movie. I'm Mike and he's Jay, and we're going to do our top 10 worst superhero movies of the 2000s.
Well, we figured we did the top best 10 superhero movies.
So I'm in a shitty fucking mood.
We just want to get rage. We're going to rage.
I'm going to rage. Our top 10 best of. You can watch that. We'll put an annotation right here. Ka-ka-ka-gow! That was my... I'm going to put it there.
Abracadabra.
Remind me to do that later.
Abracadabra.
So I don't just look like I'm doing that for no good fucking reason. Worst superhero movies of the 2000s, Superman Returns.
Yep. Terrible movie.
Oh, let me tell you something. First time I ever went to a bar, my friend stuck me in, and I met this girl there, and she was like 4 years older than me. I get her phone number, and I'm like, yeah, let me take you out. And I was like, I kept texting her, I was like, what do you want to do? Let's go see a movie. It's like, let's see Superman, obviously. It's going to be fucking awesome. So we go to see the movie.
You told the girl that you'd rather go see Superman than hang out?
No, we were going to go see a movie. It was our first date.
Okay, I missed that part.
We go to
alcohol.
See, yeah, we go to see the movie, and at first she was being a real taint.
You know what a famous man once said?
What?
He that have a cuppeth full of Supermaneth will have the boneth with the girleth.
And that's the thing.
But you know who said that?
Who?
Thomas Jefferson.
Oh, he's a great man.
He's a very good man.
That was the thing. The movie sucked, and we agreed upon it, that the fact that the movie sucked, and then I went back to her house, and it worked out. I mean...
You get some?
Yes. Yes, it was a successful day. So I can't hate this day so bad. I don't hate it so bad, because I got the little...
you got a little bit of freaky deakies.
I got a little bit of what Superman couldn't get with
Or you could have got what they call in the medical term crabs.
I got a little bit of what Superman couldn't get from Lois Lane, because obviously, as we learned in Mallrats, her fallopian tubes can never handle
Only
this.
Wonder Woman can hold that. But you know what? That was really
Superman.
that whole fucking thing really ruined it. Do you have a godchild?
Oh God!
Like. If his son, it's Superman's son. Are you kidding? Like, I was like, you know, it was a boring kind of movie anyway. I like the special effects that they used on it with him, like the whole catching the plane. That was badass. And Brandon Routh is actually not a terrible actor. He's not bad. I mean, they just really...
It wasn't his fault.
No, they really wanted to make a Christopher Reeve, movie. I mean, and Christopher Reeve is the best Superman of all time. I agree with that. But you got to move on at some point. You can't just keep rehashing the same bullshit. And then they made the Godchild stuff, which ruined it. And it felt like Kevin Spacey just phoned it all in.
Yeah, I don't even think it was his fault. It was such a boring performance because such a terrible writing.
It didn't look like it was just like a copy and paste. Like, Kevin Spacey was like, Gene Hackman. I gotta be Gene Hackman. I gotta be like, whoa! I gotta be like kind of stupid.
But Kevin Spacey's so badass that even as bad as he was in that movie, if they were like, hey, he's gonna be Lex Luthor in Superman Returns.
Yeah.
I mean, not Superman Returns, but Superman vs. Batman, I'd be like, okay. Because Kevin Spacey
Spacey is great, but it's just like Gene Hackman.
Terrible.
Gene Hackman was like that corny, cheesy Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Because it worked for that kind of movie. But Kevin Spacey's like, I'm gonna do the same thing. It didn't work.
But seriously, today, if that movie never happened, if today you said Kevin Spacey's gonna be Lex Luthor, you'd be like, mind explosion. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's the perfect casting, but it just did not work out.
I don't know. Today it'd be Bryan Cranston.
I'd still take Kevin Spacey.
Now we have Jesse
if I didn't
Eisenberg.
know that he already sucked in that role. But, yeah, no, and the special effects were awesome in that movie. You gotta give it down. Where he's getting shot in the face and the plane scene and all that stuff like that.
But they made fun of that fucking shit so
boring.
hardcore with the eyeball thing.
Yeah. It was just
it was badass, though.
Boring-ass, terrible movie. And there's some people who say, I'd take Superman Returns over Man of Steel. Suck a big old popsicle. Daredevil. I didn't hate it that bad.
Colin Farrell overacted that entire fucking role.
Oh yeah.
Terrible overacting.
Can I get you anything else? More peanuts.
More peanuts, please. The devil is my nemesis. I want a bloody costume.
And then Ben Affleck has moments of awfulness in that movie. He's like,
oh god, when he was like hanging up on the rafters when he goes after the guy at the very beginning of the movie, he's like, what the hell do you want? He's like, justice! And then he throws like nightstick. I'm like, dude, this is so over the top corny. You took everything.
It was like he was trying to be Christian Bale Batman, but it didn't work.
The thing is, Daredevil should be a street justice, low-level hero like Punisher, and struggling, fighting against his own inner demons Catholic guy.
It doesn't affect me on the Ben Affleck being Batman, because Ben Affleck has come so far as an actor since then. One part about the movie I liked, and I loved it, maybe it's just because I'm a Seether fan, when he's in the tank and they show how he sleeps and shit, and he comes out and hang on by
I gave my life away.
Yeah, I was like, I want to wake up like that.
I liked Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Amazing. There were little small highlights in that were good.
The lowest part of that movie is when he meets Electra Jennifer Garner, who we'll talk about later, and they go to the park, and he's like fighting. He's
with his frosted tips.
Yeah, it was shitty frosted tip hair, and they get in the fight in the middle of the park. That was so awful and bad. That killed anything the movie had going for it. But it's weird to think that he had John Favreau as his little partner there, and then Iron Man.
You know what's funny is like when you remember when he was like, "What's your name?" It's like Electra Nachos. I was like, oh no. So high up on the list.
Number 8, Blade Trinity.
Yeah, you know, with the Blade Trinity, I liked Ryan Reynolds in it. He was a little bit. He felt like Van Wilder in a superhero movie. But, you know, it's not because Ryan. You look like you never got a Christmas present. It wasn't necessarily Ryan Reynolds. It was the fact that Blade himself came off as such an asshole. I don't know. It was just like they try to give him dialogue and they try to make him like little bits of funny, and then he becomes Dracula at some point. Or like I'm like, what the fuck are you doing to this character?
I didn't even mind Ryan Reynolds in this movie. I thought Ryan Reynolds was one of the best parts of this movie because he brought some comedy to it. And at least this movie is fucking shitty. It's terrible. When Ryan Reynolds calls somebody a cock juggling thunder cunt, that you gotta laugh. And then he farts. And he's like, I hate garlic or whatever it was. And have you ever seen abs like that? Never mind. It was like a music video. It was like it was made by MTV. Like they would go through and Jessica Alba doing. She was like, let's go.
Jessica Biel.
Or Jessica Biel. She's like, let's go. And it was just so like corny and over the top.
Yeah.
It was like a techno music video. It was
It's like, this is Whistler's daughter. I'm like, oh, you know, it just looked to me like a cash grab.
Yeah.
So let's just throw these good-looking people in this movie and make a quick buck, and that's what you got.
Made by like a music video director who was
Yeah,
like,
but
I just want some pump some techno music and fight.
Yeah,
You know?
I just didn't understand the whole Blade part of it. Like it just really didn't feel like a Blade movie.
Well, it didn't make our list, but I've always hated this movie as Blade 2.
You know what? It would have been
a
a great movie if it had been just Ryan Reynolds and their whole like vampire stalker kind of guys. Like, you know, like
Oh, and Wesley Snipes.
no, I mean I'm saying like
You mean just
them.
Oh, like
have
they're
their
talking
own-
about doing a spin-off.
Yeah, that would have worked completely. But having Blade, I want Blade by himself. He's not a fucking team player. Like
Yeah.
he's a solo guy. So get it done, Wesley. Pay your taxes.
Spider-Man 3 coming in just
There's
below.
really, I mean, we just did a review on that, so I mean, there's not much more to say about that. Topher fucking Grace.
All I can think every time I think about this movie, other than like the overuse of villains and all that shit like that. Oh, Topher Grace, obviously. But really, when you think Spider-Man 3, all I think about is Peter Parker walking down the street like,
Now dig on this.
and there's nothing more you can say. Watch that scene and like tell me that could possibly be a good movie after that happens.
Dude, that whole movie should have been like the documentary of emo with spider
It's like,
powers.
find me some shade.
Oh god, I
God,
want to fucking punch you in the face.
I hate it forever.
Then he goes to a poetry bar, which makes total sense, and you have your little fucking hair, and your face is like, oh.
Hulk. It was just that.
Yeah, it's CGI'd out of the motherfucking ass. I mean,
Every
Eric
time he
Bana-
jumps, I was like, boing, boing.
Eric Bana, you talk about overacting. Eric Bana really fucking tried to sell that like he was like this struggling scientist. He's like, sometimes when I lose control, I like it. It's just like, dude, I mean, I just don't get it. And I know that there's some debate out there about the Hulk when he becomes angry, he gets like a friggin' like Godzilla size. I don't like that. Maybe he does, but the whole fact that he looks like a friggin' bigger than like a skyscraper is ridiculous.
And he jumps around like John Carter.
I don't even like the way they shot the whole, like, certain scenes would be like comic books. It would be like panels and stuff. Sometimes the scenes would shift, it would be like panels.
It's a good idea if you could do it right.
Yeah, but it just came off stupid as fuck. I don't know. And then Eric Bana was just like overacting, and then Jennifer Connelly is a good actress. I mean, she was great in the movie, I guess, but it just didn't, there was no chemistry between them. It's just like, you're supposed to be the love of his life, and you don't, it's like, it's Eric Bana. I was like, you know.
It was shit.
It was shit.
It was shit. The Fantastic Four franchise all together. You just can't even separate. You just got to clump it together like a big old stinky pile of duty. Chris Evans as Human Torch. I like that idea. He fits in that role. I thought he did an okay job. But how fucking boring was the main guy? I mean, like...
Was Reed Richards?
Yeah, I mean, how boring was he? And then Jessica Alba was just terrible.
Well, she was hot as fuck. I mean, like, you know, you show a little cleavage. Okay, get to clay. It was miscast completely. Ben Grimm, the guy from the show, I can't remember his name. It's terrible. I don't remember his name. But the guy that cast as Ben Grimm was good. Obviously, Chris Evans was good as a Human Torch. You couldn't have picked a better Human Torch. The rest of it, terrible cast. Yeah. Dr. Doom, what the fuck was happening there? Like, they tried to change his whole story. Like, he went up on the space cruiser with them and then somehow got bombarded with these same cosmic rays. And then he's metal. Like, you know, the whole thing, I know they don't... Sometimes they take liberties with these movies and they don't have to tell the exact comic book origins. But Dr. Doom... he got scarred from doing like sorcery and shit, like, and scarred his face in an experiment. That's why he wears a mask.
That actor was the guy from Nip Tuck,
yeah,
and he's awesome. He's a badass. But he would be a perfect Doctor Doom, but they fucked that in the beans.
And then you go to Silver Surfer. I didn't mind that they used Lawrence Fishburne's voice as Silver Surfer because the world is going to end. I like that. I was like, yeah, that gives me chill bumps. But at the same time, it's like you wanted to see Galactus too, and it's just this big mass of
it's a fucking tornado.
Yeah, it's this big mass of poop, and then you see like a shadow of him going, whoa. Like they were just like corny time.
I just don't know how you make a movie that
corn
bad.
chips.
I don't know how you do it. I want some Fritos.
Frito-Lays.
I'll get the cheap ones though. They're like Ditos. Number 4, another franchise. We just lumped this shit together because I hate the first one worse. Jay hates the second one worse. The Ghost Rider franchise. They're both shit.
Yeah, you couldn't have. Nicolas Cage, terrible choice. You know what? And you told me before Nicolas Cage is going to be in a movie. You're like, oh fuck yeah, Nicolas Cage. And then you're like, he's Ghost Rider. It's like, what the fuck?
I don't know. I don't mind him as Ghost Rider.
I don't like it.
I thought the
whole
script
thing
was terrible. The movie was terrible, and I thought he overacted. But Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider, it's just like the Kevin Spacey thing. If you told me that again, I'm like, I can make that work.
You know what? I get that he can eat a peach for hours. I get that. But the thing is with him, you got hair implants to make him look like he's not like fucking balding. Dude, it's like, and I know Ghost Rider is like he had said in multiple interviews, like he loved Ghost Rider when he was a kid and he read all the comic books. That's great, but you're 90,000 years old. You can't play Ghost Rider. You needed a youngish actor or maybe a 30-year-old to play it. It came off so ridiculous the whole time.
For me,
like when he's changed, like. It's like, dude, it's like.
But I think if you gave it the right director and the right script, that
maybe
that could have worked though. I think if you did it somewhere else. But for me, it was the direction and mainly more than anything on top of all else. First and second movie, the fucking CGI. When he turns into Ghost Rider, he should look badass, scary as fuck, awesome, and he looked like a computer game.
Well, sometimes, like, when he was driving up the side of the building in the first one, I was like, that's pretty decent or whatever. But, I mean, other times when you got up close, and then, you know, like, you see the transformation, and he would, like, his skin would melt off at certain points, and then all of a sudden he's like, yeah. And then, like, he would just transform into Ghost Rider, like, no problem.
You got that final turn out on the tour.
Yeah. And then Spirit of Vengeance is a spirit of shit. Like, that just literally solidified this is a terrible franchise. And, you know, I don't get it, man. I just don't understand. Like, it's another dark hero that's a tortured soul, and you can make a real... Honestly, I would have slapped a rated R fucking... Was it rated R?
No.
I slapped a rated R version on it, and fucking made it dark as fuck, made different actors, different actresses, and you could have made a very solid, not maybe a Batman, maybe not like Dark Knight Rises, but you could have made... Or Dark Knight... Just the Dark Knight, but you could have made something that's very, like... crazy, scary.
Yeah, just think, no matter how good of a movie they are, if you don't get the way he looks right, you're gonna fuck it up. And like his skull or whatever was like over CGI'd, and the fire was like over here. And then the first one, the bad guys were just terrible. Well, the second one, I mean, other than
keep slapping.
What's his name?
Keep slapping.
The guy from fucking Mortal Kombat. Christopher Lambert.
Yeah.
He shows up and it's like, oh, that's fucking Christopher Lambert. He could have been a cool bad guy and they made him a douche hole and that didn't matter. And then they got AJ from Empire Records playing the bad guy. Fucking AJ and eating Twinkies and shit. Like,
there's so many things wrong with the movie. It's just ridiculous.
God damn it. Number 3. This is going to surprise you guys. This is high up on this list. There's a good reason for it, though, and that's because it's fucking Batman. It still beats out the other two movies ahead of it, and that's Batman and Robin. It's one of the biggest jokes of all time, and it's the first thing you think of when you think of the shitty movie in general, but...
Do you really have to say anything about it? Like, really, I mean, it's Batman and Robin. Like, if you've seen the movie, it makes you sick to your stomach.
Freeze.
Like, you get constipated. You're like, I can't believe it.
But here's the thing about this movie, though. We're so excited about it as kids.
Oh, God,
right for us.
I got the album.
Oh, dude, I got the fucking CD. I got all the shit. I had all the toys. I had fucking everything. I'm like, oh, I'm ready for this fucking...
I wanted the Jewel song.
It was the first movie I was really excited for before it came out that I went to the theater and was, like, anticipatory of. Yeah. And it was so fucking terrible. But it's a kid's movie. My daughter loves it.
Is it really a kid's
I've watched
movie,
it so many freaking times. It makes me insane.
Is it a kid's movie, though? Because you see a lot of butt cheeks.
It's a kid's movie with a gay overtone.
It does have a gay overtone.
And like Joel Schumacher even said that. He's like, well, in the comic books there was this weird like gay overtone, and I want to make it that way. You're showing bat crack and bat nipples and all this shit like that.
You know what? The thing is,
George fucking Clooney.
I will say this: I hated the part because it was terrible when he was like, put it on the card, and he has like the. I want that card though. I wanted to have like. Imagine if you have a basketball with a little
fucking bat card.
Fuck yeah, scan that. It's like, but that was like, and the dialogue was terrible. He's like, it's like the ice hockey team from hell. It's like everything they were spouting out was like the worst Saturday morning cartoon you could ever have watched. And if you'd seen that, like. It couldn't have competed in the cartoon in that time because X-Men was on. Yeah. Like, it would have been terrible anyway.
Again, it shows how stupid we are as fans, really, if you think about it, because we get pissed off about these shitty castings that end up being great, Chris Evans, Captain America, stuff like that. But when you think about it, when you hear, if this movie had never happened and you heard George Clooney's Batman, okay, Arnold Schwarzenegger's going to be a villain, Uma Thurman's going to be a villain, Other than Bane.
Actually, honestly, the only thing about
you would have thought that'd been great.
Yeah, it sounds great, but Arnold Schwarzenegger like has never been the greatest actor in the world. Like he's all panache.
But you still get excited when you hear Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, maybe they could have taken. Mr. Freeze is actually a very you can relate to him because he's doing it all for his wife, but they barely talk. He's like, it was just like icicles. It's like icicles and my conditions are be cold to you, please. Like everything he's just spouted out was just the worst shit you could ever. I don't know what Schumacher, and then Schumacher came out with the excuses. He was like, oh well, the studio was rushing me and they wanted to sell toys, but it does come off as like a.
Well, ultimately, you're a fucking hack.
It comes off like a Hasbro. It should have been Lego. It should have been the Lego movie.
Yeah, it's like you didn't learn.
Not the Lego movie.
You didn't learn
the
lesson from Batman Forever, so you don't really have an excuse.
That's when it's.
I kind of like it, but it's still bad.
The cheesiness started there. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's just one of the worst movies in the history of the world, and Alicia Silverstone's.
She's hot though.
Yeah, I mean,
I do things to her.
In the bat suit, even. Elektra.
I don't have much to say about it. It's
Hey, they made a movie about
again.
Elektra.
You take a tortured hero and you turn him into a joke. I mean, it's terribly shot. It's boring. It's fucking the cinematography of it is ridiculous. There is a kiss scene in it that's pretty hot, but other than that, it's just not there.
Well, it's like, hey, what was the worst part about Daredevil? The weird shit between him and Elektra. Let's make a movie about Elektra.
Like, did you get any? I mean, I know there's huge Daredevil fans out there and they like Elektra, but I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care about Elektra. It's just like one of those things. It's like, who can we pick today that nobody really cares about? Elektra. That's the movie we're gonna make. Like, okay.
How does Elektra have a fucking movie?
She is a big ass character in the Marvel universe as far as Daredevil's side goes, but overall in the scope of things, no. I don't understand. Like, you're gonna pump that many millions of dollars in to make a movie, and you could have picked any other fucking like semi-decent middle of the run character.
All of us would rather watch a fucking Aquaman movie.
That's pushing. But I would have over that movie.
Yeah,
over that movie, yeah, I would.
Okay, number one. Fucking
throw it away.
Burn it. Oh, I got some. I'm fucking Catwoman. Do we say it? We don't have to say anything.
There really isn't.
No, we really.
You got Halle Berry in there in her hot outfit. I mean, the entire time I was like, I want to take you home and do things, but at the same time, the terrible movie, terrible fucking dialogue. Pop sensation soundtrack.
It was like Catwoman, the TLC video.
Yeah, it really was. It was like Dangerous Housewives.
It's just one of the worst things that anyone's
Didn't she look like,
so.
Sometimes when she would jump around, she really did look like one of those bitches from like the Malibu Hills that just got bored. Like, I'm going to put on a sexy outfit and go do something.
That's like, what boardroom and what place in America where they're like, Catwoman, the movie, R&B soundtrack.
Halle Berry.
Make it hip. Halle Berry.
You know why? Because it was Halle Berry. Academy Award winner Halle Berry.
Yeah,
like,
she's hot. I would rather watch that scene in Swordfish where she's got the suntan thing and it shows her boobies on replay for 72 hours than ever watch 10 minutes of this movie.
That's not a bad thing.
No, I'm just saying, like, I just want to talk about something good in my life. She could have been naked and that movie still would have sucked.
To be honest, I watched about
that's not true.
15 minutes, 20 minutes of that movie and I vomited, and that was it.
He did vomit.
I didn't vomit, but I almost did. It was literally a slap in the face of every comic book fan of all time. It's like, you know what? We don't give a shit about you guys. We don't care that you've been sporting it since Batman. The whole Batman franchise is like, we're just gonna make a quick dollar off your dicks and fucking go ahead with our lives. And that's what you did. And you know what? I didn't even watch this movie in theater. I was not even giving. Again, it goes back. Elektra, Catwoman. I didn't give a shit about Catwoman. Like, I didn't want to see a whole movie around her. I didn't. I mean, you can make an argument now. It's like we said it before, Black Widow, and they're going to make a spin-off of Black Widow. But they did so well fleshing her out and making her like her own like standalone character with Scarlett Johansson, what they've done with Captain America. Like, I'm okay with seeing a Black Widow movie because you're going to have Hawkeye and you're going to have other ties, the Shield, and
all it's not about it being a woman. It's about it being shitty over CGI.
But you know that somebody's going to come on and say, you're sexist as fuck. I was like, no, that's bullshit because I actually wouldn't mind seeing a Black Widow movie because But you know, that goes back to them fleshing out the characters and taking time and putting the effort in to making these characters relatable and empathetic and having a tie to the overall universe versus just a standalone Catwoman movie or Elektra movie that has nothing to fucking do with any of them.
No.
It's just like, oh, quick dollar. Four times.
Thank God it didn't have it spread its shit on everyone else. I would rather snort crack off Rosie O'Donnell's butt crack. after a day in the sauna than ever watch this movie again. So that's our top 10, guys. What do you guys think? What did we miss? There's honorable mentions. X-Men Origins Wolverine was pretty shitty. X-Men Last Stand, a lot of people hate that movie. Movies like that. What would you guys put in that we didn't put in? What would your list be? Put your whole list below.
Put your heart into it.
Slap it down below. I'm Mike. He's Jay. By the way, subscribe, click like, share us on your Facebooks and your Twitters because it helps us a huge, great big rainbow deal. And that's Skittles in the butt. But I'm Mike, he's Jay. We'll see you guys next time.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie.